Welcome to the Bike Life podcast by Warmshowers Foundation, where we will be sharing knowledge, experience, tools, and stories of touring cyclists and hosts from around the world. I'm Tavra Lee, the woman behind the scenes at Warmshowers Foundation, the leading platform for cyclists looking for hosts and to connect with a passionate international community. Find out more by visiting us at Warmshowers.org. Now, on to the show.
Hey everyone, this is Jerry Kopak sitting in for Tauberly, coming to you from snowy Breckenridge, Colorado. When I'm not building spreadsheets as the finance guy for Warm Showers, I'm usually off riding my bike either in Colorado or some remote mountain region in the world. And speaking of, I just returned from my own bike tour in the Indian Himalayas, and I am so excited to talk to our guest today, Kanishka Poddar. Kanishka is from India and went from not riding a bicycle for over 20 years to doing a massive bicycle tour of India and Southeast Asia. Kanishka, welcome.
Hello, Jerry. How are you?
So good. So, hey, man, I've been trying to get you on our show for a month now. Where are you?
I just got back to India. I was touring southern Thailand right now. And I love Thailand, and it's an incredible place to be on a bicycle.
Did you cycle all the way from India all the way to Thailand?
Oh, no, I flew with my bicycle over there, and I started cycling from Bangkok and then went down south till Phuket. And interestingly, when you're there in Thailand, you move from East Coast to the West Coast, and it's a very dramatic place in terms of changing terrains and people, culture, everything changes. So it's quite interesting to ride bicycle over there.
So why Thailand?
I love Thailand. Why not?
Well, I just asked because India, you're from India. It's a massive country, as you know. I just wonder, what was your first exposure to Thailand?
So I have been touring Thailand over the period for many times. So I have, in different trips, I have toured across Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam. And somehow Thailand, I love their food. I love their people. It's just so nice being there. It just feels like home again to me.
Yeah, everyone, I've been to Thailand and I've been to Vietnam, and I've had very similar experiences to what it sounds like you've had. The people, the culture, and of course the food. Not that the people and the culture in India aren't amazing, but it's also amazing in those other countries too. So it's really nice to get a different experience in those other cultures as well.
Absolutely.
So, quick question for you. Did you meet a lot of other cyclists along the way?
I did plenty of them. So it was interesting. So I was cycling alone for a lot of while. And then you meet other people. I met few cyclists from Germany. I met few people from Korea. They were touring the same route. So we ended up riding together for some time. And then it was fun. You meet a lot of people. And especially in Thailand, there are a lot of bike-friendly places to stay and eat. So you actually meet a lot of cyclists over there.
Yeah, I remember I was in the north in Chiang Mai, and I did this route called the Mae Hong Son. Have you heard of that one before?
I have been there.
You have? Okay. What was your experience with that?
It was incredible. I mean, for me, I always go with the underlying principle of touring is follow the mountains.
Yeah.
So I love that place.
So you went from, let's rewind. You went from not riding a bicycle for 20 years and to now going on all these bike tours, to not just going for a bike ride, but going on bike tours. What was your spark? What was your motivation? How did you get into this?
So if I look back like 7-8 years back, I was in Bombay for some work, and I was a bit stressed up, and I had some free time with me, a couple of days. I rented a bike over there and just went out with a backpack on my back and went to a place called Lonavala. And I think there was no looking back. There was an instant love that happened with me and bicycle and touring. It was something I started enjoying the life in slow motion that you see. I always say when you are there on a motorbike or when you're there on a car or a bus or a flight, you zoom through places. But on a bike,
Yes.
you can actually see places, see people, see small alleys, stop in smaller places where no one goes to. So I think I
Yes.
started enjoying these things instantly, and there was no looking back after that.
I love that story. I've had similar sentiment with my experiences. I see people going by on a motorbike, going on a tour bus, and you can get from Delhi to the Taj Mahal to Mumbai to Calcutta all by a bus or by an automobile or a car or by a flight. But in my experience, the true stories, the color, the experiences happen along the way. And if you get on a bike, as you said, you're going slow and you get to experience these small remote villages where people aren't stopping because they aren't part of any tour book. And that has definitely been some of my experiences that have been my favorite as well.
Absolutely. And interestingly, again, way back, I remember there's this girl from Spain who turned to India and she wanted to buy a bike in India and tour around India on a bicycle. I was like, what the fuck? No one does that. I mean, who tour India on a bicycle? And few years fast forward, I'm doing the same thing. So, and I realized that when you are there out there on a bicycle, you are able to meet people who are not commercialized by tourism. So these are untouched people, untouched territories, untouched culture. So in its purest form. So you actually get to experience a better side of the world than what is made for the tourist.
It's so funny that you said no one cycles in India. And I've been to India 3 times now, most recently in October. And I was in northern part of India, in Ladakh, up in the Jammu and Kashmir region. And I came across exactly 2 other cyclists besides myself. One was a guy from Mumbai, and the other was a guy from Colorado, which is where I'm from. But I didn't see a lot of
Wow.
other cyclists. And I'm just wondering, why do you think that is?
Say of lately, again, it's how we grow up. We grow up and we are in our colleges and motorbike seems more um, in terms with the comfort, in terms with the what people like and fashion and everything, and people stop bicycles. Bicycles ends up being only with the villagers to do their daily works and stuff. But then gradually things are changing. Gradually things are changing. So now when I go out in my own city, I can see cyclists around everywhere. There are around more than 50 people in my city who would go out on bike packing trips over weekends. So things are changing. It will take time, but yeah.
So, real quick, what city do you live in? And because India is so large, whereabouts is that in the country?
Interesting one because I live in a city called Ranchi. For most Indians, this city is not in a map. This place is close to Calcutta,
Oh,
around 500 kilometers from Calcutta, and we have 2 million people living in the city. It's a very tiny, small city.
2 million is a very small, tiny city. Fascinating. So, I've
Yeah.
actually cycled 6 years ago through the northeast part of India. So, Darjeeling, Sikkim,
Oh wow.
Nagaland, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh. And it was some of my most enjoyable experiences. It was almost like
Wow.
this region of the country was forgotten by so many people. It was almost like it wasn't India because I had to
Absolutely.
cycle all the way south from Ladakh, cut through Nepal, and then come back into India on the eastern side of Nepal. And it was just this most amazing experience. I was greeting with such kindness and generosity and mostly just curiosity to see somebody cycling through, and it was wonderful.
It is. I mean, the region that we're talking about is supposedly one of my favorites too. And I was in Darjeeling like 3 months back, cycled from Darjeeling to Sikkim. And it's the people are so simple because that part of the um country has been disconnected from the mainland for a long time. And it's so nice to travel and explore these places. And people are so extrovert. They love meeting you. They want to talk to you. They want to know you.
Yes.
They are so culturally rich in terms of arts and music. So it's a very interesting region to explore on a bicycle.
So it's curious that what you said there. People are interested in meeting you and talking to you. I was going to ask you, is it the same with you being native Indian? I'm
It,
American, so I don't, well, how do I say this? I don't look the same as everyone else. So people are more curious when they see me because there's just not a lot of Americans cycling through there. But you're from India. You probably speak a similar language. I know there are lots of different dialects in the country.
Mhm.
But people are still as curious to meet you and hear your story, it sounds like.
Do you think the moment you have your panniers and your bicycle, you are no more the same person. You are somebody different, and that difference attract people. People want to connect with you. And like you said, even in India, if I go to Calcutta, if I go to Gujarat, if I go to south of India, it's like going to a different country for me. I don't know the language, their foods are different, the people are different. So everything changes over there. I'm a different person over there.
Yeah, and the language is different. The dialects are different, right?
Absolutely. I don't know them. For me, it's going to Thailand or going to Gujarat, same thing, because everything is different. And I have the same difficulty in making conversation that I would have in Thailand or Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing for me. People don't speak Hindi, which is what I would speak. So I have to make conversations in mix of Hindi, English, and Google Translator.
So you also use Google Translate because I use that as well.
I know we all do.
So have you spent much time in the north, in the Jammu Kashmir region where I had spent some time most recently? Have you been up there?
I I love mountains, and that's my place.
Yeah, man.
Given a time, yeah, given a time, I'll be there with my bicycle every time. And a few years back, I cycled from Manali, just before Manali, to Ladakh.
Yes, I
And
know that route.
it was an incredible experience. What a beautiful trail it is.
So you went the more challenging way, right? So you started lower in Manali and cycled north to Ladakh, which
Yeah,
is progressively uphill. I went the other direction. I started in Ladakh and cycled to Manali. And did you go over Kardung La, which at the time when
I
I was
did.
there was the highest motorable road in the world, right?
I didn't go to Khadungla, but
Okay.
then I went to a place, another pass called Changla. So Changla is equally same elevation as Khardungla.
Okay.
And from Changla, you go to this place called Pangong Lake.
Yes.
So
That's
that's where I went to.
I just read recently that the Indian Border Roads Organization just put a road in an Umling law, making it
I know.
now the highest motorable road in the world at just around, I think, 19,000 feet. It's crazy, right?
5,900 meters. Wow, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Is
That's
that on your bucket
insane.
list of things to go see? I know
It
that you
is.
love mountains.
It is. It is.
Okay.
There's a beautiful joy that comes like cycling in mountains, the climb, and when you reach the top, and then it's just a beautiful feel. And I can go on a mountain.
What kind of days are you putting in? Like 5, 6 hour days? What's regular for you?
So I generally start early in the morning.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's cold in the
I
mountains
would
sometimes.
I still prefer early in the morning so that I can enjoy the place more. I would start in mountain around 6 o'clock in the
Woo.
morning, and end the ride by around 12, so that actually I can enjoy the place more, be there in the moment more.
Ah,
I
I
have the
love
whole day with
that.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love pulling into a new village, whether the size is large, medium, small, and just finding a place to sleep, finding some food. Speaking of the food, can we talk about the food? I love
We
the
can.
food in India. And so I don't know what maybe you're not as excited about as I am because you grew up with it. But when I go to India, I eat, I think, the same 2 or 3 things every day. And so the morning I start off with paratha, which I love.
Uh-huh.
And then, of
Uh-huh.
course, for lunch and for dinner, I usually have vegetarian thali. And so for the people who don't know, who are listening, what thali or paratha is, can you kind of go into that, what those are?
So paratha is an Indian bread stuffed with potatoes or other vegetables, and it's
Aloo, right?
delicious. Aloo,
Aloo.
potatoes,
Yeah.
aloo. So it's delicious. And then thali is a kind of a platter where you have a bit of rice, bit of bread, bit of curries, bit of lentils,
Ah,
and it's delicious.
yeah, I am smiling right now because it's been 2 months since I've been there, and I just have these amazing memories of the food. And I think when I first went to India, I thought that every place, every village I was going to go to would have these amazing curries that you would see maybe in, say, Western countries or America. And I found out that these small villages, those things weren't available, and so thali was the main staple dish. And the cool thing that I really loved about thali, being a cyclist, cycling for 5, 6, 7 hours a day, and you probably know this too, is if you want more, they will keep bringing you more rice. They'll keep bringing you more curry. They'll keep bringing you more beans, more chai, more chapati, more roti, until you tell them to stop. And for
Well done.
me, that's like heaven because I can
Huh.
eat.
And it's unlimited.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt the same experience when I was there in Nepal a couple of times. They have dal bhat, a
Yep.
similar kind of thali,
Yeah.
and it's incredible too. And it's just a power pack for us. A thali, if you have, is so much of a power. You have rice, you have breads, you have lentils. It's everything that you need on a road.
Yeah. So you said you were in Nepal. Where were you at in Nepal?
I wasn't cycling there.
Okay.
I went trekking to Annapurna Base Camp
Yes.
very recently in August, and it was an incredible experience again.
You are an adventurous guy. I love that. What drives this adventure?
Well, I think to be outdoor is a more something that I'm not able to do in my city.
Mm,
Um, that is what keeps pushing me to go out there in the nature.
right. So this is a question I like to ask people. With any extended tour like you've done, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, who knows? Inevitably, things happen that you just didn't plan for. So tell me about something that happened to you that made you think, wow, I did not see that happening, or how am I going to get myself out of this?
Um, a couple of experiences. I think for me, most of the experience has been with people.
Okay.
But there was this one moment in again in north of India when I was cycling from Manali to Leh. I was in this remote place called Sing Bar,
Yes.
and I was tired to the hell. The climb to Baralacha was difficult, and
Paracha. Yep.
Baralacha is a very yeah, and Baralacha is a very notorious pass. So the weather is always bad over there, and it was just a bad day for me probably because I was tired as hell, and just when everything was going wrong, I had a flat tire, and I had literally no energy to just make it, and that was one moment which was bad. I felt like why I'm here right now. And then another moment that happened with me was when I was crossing from
Well,
Thailand into Cambodia. Come
so
again?
how did you get out of that? What happened?
So I eventually stayed there for a bit, stopped there, relaxed, took breath, rested a bit, fixed the bike again, and then started again. But then the whole moment, the emotion that was going in over there, it was because I was completely wet, I was drenched in rain, and I was tired. So it was the emotion was why I am doing this right now, why I am here right now. And then once you rest a bit, once you are settled up, you calm down, then you feel more confident about it, and you are able to fix things again and start again. So I probably needed a refresh button over there.
So for people who don't know Baralacha, I've cycled there as well. What's the elevation of that pass? Do you
It's
remember?
the first 5,000-meter pass, 5,000 meter.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's probably around 15 or 16,000 feet. And you're right, the weather there is often not nice.
Yeah, it's quite a notorious pass. So while I was going there, it first started raining, then it started hailstorms, and then snowfall started. So I had a hard time because you are completely drenched in rain, and then a hailstorm. You have like big snow or balls coming and hitting you, hails, and then snowfall. It was freezing, and then you have a flat tire over there. So
Would you at any point during that time, it obviously sounds pretty miserable. Did you think, why am I out here? What am I doing this for?
that is all went in my head at that time because I kept questioning myself why I am here, what I am doing here. Um, I'm so miserable at that moment that I started doubting and questioning my own self. But then, like I said, I waited there for a bit, let myself to calm down, rested on the side of the road for a bit, and then started again, fixed the tire, and then moved again.
Yeah. I've of course I've had similar episodes where I thought to myself, what in the world am I doing out here? And then I was able to calm myself and realize that this is an opportunity. This time to do this, to be in this magical place is a gift. And even as miserable as I might be at that moment, I knew that later on I would miss it when it was gone because it truly is this special opportunity in life.
Absolutely. Very rightly said.
Yeah. So you've been to a bunch of countries. And the question I get, because I've been to several countries as well, people always ask me, what's your favorite country? And I never really have a good answer for it. Like I do know that India is definitely near the top or at the top of my list, but it's so hard because every country is unique. Every culture is beautiful. The people are kind. Do you have a favorite place, a place that you would want to go back to?
So again, it's a question I can never have one single answer. I
Good.
love Thailand for its food and places, and it's such a cycling friendly place to ride on. I love Vietnam for its people. I remember there were moments in Vietnam when I was standing on side of the road. There's a wedding happening next to it, and people just pulled me in. I was there in a Vietnamese wedding right there in my
Really?
uh, dirty, filthy, stinky clothes in middle of everyone dressed beautifully. And a few moments later, I was dancing with them, singing with them, and I was just part of that wedding. I remember again in Vietnam, I was tired. The sun was hot, and there's this old guy. He stopped me. He stopped me on one of these days, and I also stopped and went inside with him. He welcomed me to his home, and he was sitting outside. He was drinking Lipton lemon iced tea, which I believe there was a Lipton lemon iced bottle with a glass filled with Lipton lemon iced tea, and he offered me. And I was tired, so I said yes. So he went inside and got a glass full of Lipton lemon iced tea. And the moment I took the first sip, I realized I have done a wrong thing because that was a locally brewed snake wine. So,
Oh,
and I can't say no to him, and he has given it to me. I was drinking it slowly, and for the next 1 hour, me and this old guy, we were making conversation in language we don't understand. He doesn't knew English, I didn't knew Vietnamese, and we were talking sense. He was telling how he don't like his son because he is not explorer or a traveler, but he loves his grandson because he's also a sailor and he travels places on for fishing, and he loves traveling as well. So it's interesting how you meet people and people becomes the core essence for me in every trip.
yeah. Through all of my travels as well, people, I don't know. It's been my experience that no matter how different the culture may be, how unique, how foreign it may be, at the end of the day, people are just people. They're kind, they're generous, they're curious, they're welcoming. I just had amazing experiences in every country that I've been to. And people have asked me, were you ever scared? Were you ever worried? Were you ever nervous? And the answer is no. I've just been met with such genuine kindness. And I'll say, even though along the way I may have had some bike issues or I've broken a part or I've lost a part or something like that, one of my favorite expressions that I heard numerous times throughout my travels in India is that in India, all is possible. And I absolutely love hearing that. It's just the willingness to help, to figure things out. It just warms my heart to this day. So have you had experiences like that through either India or Vietnam or Thailand or any place else?
Many times you are stuck up in moments where you don't have any help. Like your tire bursts and you don't have a spare tire with you. What
Yeah.
you'll do? Things like that. These things keeps on happening while we are out there on the road, and I have realized that help comes to you on yourself. People offer help instantly the moment they see you. And I have never been disappointed by people. I somehow think that when people see you on a bicycle, they see and feel that you are one of them. The moment you are there on a car or some fancy motorbike, they think they are not one of you. So there's a disconnect between people and you. But when on a bicycle, there's a beautiful connect, and I've always felt that warmth. I've always received that warmth, and anywhere and I have cycled, I have never been to a trouble where people haven't helped me with their open heart.
Gosh, I love that. That is inspiring. That should make all of our listeners out there want to just get on a bike and go explore. It makes me want to go back for sure. And I've only been back for 2 months. So I'm already starting to look at my next opportunity to get back on the road. So for people who have listening to this show thus far, have thought, well, I'm not really a cyclist, or maybe I've taken 20 years off a bike, but listening to your story, they may wonder, wow, how can I get into this? What would you tell them to maybe try this for the first time?
I tell two things. First thing is get yourself a bicycle and start riding. Start riding for a small distance. Distance really doesn't matter. But the first step is to get on a bike and start riding. So the moment you start riding, you start with your neighborhood, you go to the next block, or you do your errands, then you go just outside your own city to explore the countryside. So the moment you do it, that process teaches you in itself to love bicycle, love being outdoor, and start touring. And I think the last 2 years, when we were all down with COVID and pandemic, and we were all inside, and we have seen, especially I have seen in India, how people move to cycling as their way to move out. There was a huge spike in people venturing on their bike to explore their own cities. And I have always been telling them, once you're able to explore your own city, you can actually go a bit further and do a bit more.
Wow. It's just like that. Just get a bike and push one pedal at a time.
Absolutely.
So I read somewhere that you're the bicycle mayor of your city. What does that mean?
Yes.
Do you get a free lunch on Tuesdays or a special parking spot, or what constitutes you being the bicycle mayor of your city?
So, basically, I'm a person who connects the community with the government. So, interestingly, I do a lot of work with the government to push them to create a cycling-friendly infrastructure and policies, do things which support the cycling community. And that is one part that we do. Second is we make sure that the community grows. So from just me bike touring, 5 years back in my city, to have around 25 people who are touring now in my city. So that is how you grow a community. From my city does not having a planned cycling policy to now having a parking station for a bicycle everywhere. They have a public bike sharing system everywhere. So you can just walk in, go pick a bike and start riding from anywhere. You don't even need to buy a bike now. So things like these works when there is somebody who is focused and working towards the community of cyclists.
That is incredible. And like everything else you've told me and our listeners today, that is inspiring. That makes me want to get back out and ride my bike some more and tour some more. Wow.
So, next time when you come to India, India is a huge place, and we talked a lot about north of India.
Yeah.
There's a bit of south of India. There's a bit of northeast of India. So all these places are so incredibly beautiful to ride bicycles on. Just avoid the highways, move on the smaller trails, and you will have time of your life.
Yes. And like you, I'm a mountain guy, so we definitely need to connect and go ride some of the big mountains in India.
Absolutely.
Well, Kanishka, thanks for taking the time to share your story with us. If people want to learn more about some of your travels, or just want to connect, how can they find you?
They can connect me on Instagram, that's KP1200, and then on my blog, veloventure.in. So I generally write all my stories over there, and one place people can connect instantly.
That's amazing. I hope everyone will be tuning in and checking out these stories because, again, I'm inspired. And they will all be listed in our show notes for people to see as well. And so thanks for tuning in to Bike Life, everybody. As always, give us a like, a share on your social channels, or just tell your friends. These stories hopefully will inspire you to set off on your own adventure and maybe make the world feel a little bit smaller, one pedal stroke at a time. My name is Jerry Kopak, sitting in for Taverley. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed making it. Wherever you are listening, please leave us a rating and a review as it helps us reach more cyclists and hosts around the world. Visit us at Warmshowers.org to become a part of our community, or on Instagram at Warmshowers_org. If you would like to be a guest on the show or submit a question, please make sure to email us at podcast@warmshowers.org.